Hello everybody and welcome to the Penguinronpa Q&A. My name is Tofu. If you guys didn't know, I am the one behind Penguinronpa. And I asked you guys on my story to submit some questions about the series. So yeah, I wanted to make a whole video for it rather than just answering them on my story because one, it kind of clutters up the story and I don't want to annoy people constantly with that. Two, I just kind of want to gush about my creative process for this series because it means so damn much to me, and I just want to talk about it a lot. So yeah, it's going to be kind of a laid-back video, I think. So if you just want to tab out, do something else while you listen, do whatever you want. It's not going to be that crazy, but let's just jump into these questions. Do you already have the entire story pre-planned? I got this question asked a lot, and it was kind of surprising to me because I feel like the answer should be pretty obvious, but I guess maybe it's not. But yes, I do have the entire story planned out. Major events were planned long before the series even started, and I've continued to kind of, think on those ideas a bit, even as I'm still posting, and I've fleshed them out quite a bit over time. I wouldn't say I have the entire thing planned out, just the big stuff, like, for instance, like, not all the dialogue is, like, I know exactly what X character is going to say in the 46th part of chapter blank. No, I don't have that much planned ahead. The dialogue is written as I go, but the dialogue is built around these major events that I've already planned long ago. So yes, the story is planned, and I foreshadow things a lot. For example, in Rockhopper's introduction, he talks about Yar, and Paige says that she hopes he's okay. So that kind of foreshadows Paige's motive to kill Rockhopper in Chapter 2. There's a lot of other foreshadowing or just slight hints towards stuff in the future, but you'll have to keep an eye out for those yourself. This next question asks about Dot and Paige's relationship pre-game. Dot seemed really torn up when Paige was revealed to be the killer. I'm glad you asked that because one of the regrets that I say I have is not really focusing on Dot and Paige's relationship earlier on. I did very slightly in Chapter 1, but that was about it. And I think the two of them having a close relationship is pretty plausible, and also it's super cute. But I will tell you that even if they did have a relationship like that, that is not the biggest reason why Dot is so torn up right now, and we will see why pretty soon. Who's your favorite character to write? This is another question that I got asked quite a lot, and my answer is pretty basic, but I'm gonna have to go with Agent, just because, like, I have to like writing for them. They're the protagonists, so they have the most lines. And I've really enjoyed it, like, kind of crafting their personality. If you don't know, Agent is based on the player character in the missions. They have their own dialogue options, and I feel like the options that are there kind of give them their own sort of personality. They have their moments where they're like really stern and ready to solve the case, and then they also have their times where they're just a nervous little baby. I think one of the biggest lines of dialogue in the PSA missions that ended up shaping Agent's personality is in Waddle Squad, I believe when you capture Herbert, Agent, or I guess you the player, says, alright, you have the option to say, I don't know, something about, some snarky comment about Herbert being caught, and Herbert replies, leave the snarky comments to me, Agent, they don't suit you, and I really like that line. It kind of implies, like, Agent is kind of a dork, but they try to put out this image of themselves as this super stern secret agent, and I really like that. How many years have you played Club Penguin? I first played Club Penguin during the Christmas party of 2007. I wasn't sure for a while if it was 2007 or 2008 because it was so long ago, but I looked up Christmas party 2007 for Club Penguin, and I saw this picture, and I just was hit with so much overwhelming nostalgia. Like, it physically hurt my body to look at this. So yeah, I've been playing Club Penguin for a while. I stopped playing around 2011, 2012. It was shortly before Operation Blackout happened. I don't know, just around that time they started making a lot of visual changes to a lot of the rooms. and I don't know, and it just kept going from there, and I didn't really like it anymore. A lot of people will say that in its later years that Club Penguin was not good anymore, it was bad, it lacked soul and heart, and I don't necessarily agree with that. I think the game still had plenty of soul and heart put into it, and I don't think it was really bad by any means. Maybe some of the membership stuff was kind of forced, but I don't think the game was bad by any means, but it certainly was not the game that it used to be. It was a lot different in its later years. So that's why I stopped playing, but it's not like I still didn't love Club Penguin. I played the two EPF DS games like once a year still, even after I stopped playing, just because those games are so damn good. I've been referencing those games a lot in Penguinronpa, and I plan on continuing that, just because those games are super special to me, and they're one of the best parts about Club Penguin, in my opinion. Jet Key, canon or canon? Dude, that's a spoiler question. I can't answer that. Is Dot going to become an antagonistic character similar to Togami and Komaeda? This is definitely a spoiler question, but I will advise you to pay close attention to how Dot acts in this chapter, and you should get your answer. Who do you believe will have the most sprites once the series is finished? I wasn't gonna answer this at first because it would kind of imply who would make it to the end, but I have a loophole. Klutzy has 5 different sprite variations: neutral, angry, sad, happy, and scared. 4 of those 5 sprites have versions where his claws are clicked together. This means that Klutzy has 9 different sprites. But we're still not done. I recently revealed that there was a scratch mark on Klutzy, and this did not just appear out of thin air in Chapter 3. It's been very slightly there since Chapter 2. So the 9 sprites that Klutzy has have 3 different variations. One without a scratch, one with a tiny scratch, and one with a slightly bigger scratch. Which means Klutzy has a grand total of 27 sprites so far, which is more than any other character will probably have ever. So there you go. Who's your favorite Danganronpa character and YouTuber? My favorite Danganronpa character is Miyu Aruma from V3. I totally understand why some people may not like her. I personally found her humor to be very, very funny and also kind of comforting. It's hard for me to really explain why, but Miyu is just one of my favorite characters of all time, and I think about her a lot, and she makes me very happy, and she's just she's a big comfort character for me, and I love her. My favorite YouTuber is probably Lucajin. She's doing a blind playthrough of V3 right now, actually, so if you guys are interested in seeing her first-time reactions to the crazy stuff in that game, I would definitely recommend you go check her out. She's awesome. Can you give a brief tutorial on how you make executions and body discoveries? Also, you epic. No, you are. I don't think I'd really be able to explain it very well. I'm not a video editing god by any means. I mainly use a program called VSDC Video Editor. It's no Premiere Pro or Final Cut or whatever, but for a free program, it gets the job done pretty well. I pretty much used Movie Maker for so long for all my other video projects before, and I was pretty intimidated to try like an editor that has like a timeline on it. You know what I'm talking about? And VSDC is a very good first step into that, I would say. I still do use Movie Maker sometimes though, for stuff like the little animation tab that lets you move the screen. I don't think you can really do that in VSDC. If you can, I don't know how, and it's probably a lot more complicated, so I'm just gonna stick to Movie Maker for that. Who is your favorite mascot? I answered this question before in one of the earlier Q&As that I did. I don't really want to answer it now because I feel like people might try to theorize off of that, and I would rather people just theorize based on things that actually happen in the story. If you do remember who my favorite character is though, good for you, and it probably shouldn't be a surprise by now. Why don't they cook the crab? Because he's a baby. About how long did it take you to make each video? Prologue, Chapter 1, etc. Finally, an excuse to talk about the videos. The reason I do the videos for the series and not just post them on Instagram is if any newcomers want to come and experience the series from the start, I don't want them to necessarily scroll all the way to the bottom of the account. They can just click the link in my bio, and then they can just find the playlist. I also just want to have an easy way to look back on the series years from now, because, like I said, this series is extremely special to me, and I knew it was special to me as soon as I started working on it. So I want to make sure that this series stays somewhere safe where I can look back on it time and time again for who knows how long. Anyways, back to the question about how long it takes. It kind of depends on what you mean exactly. Like, editing the actual video probably takes about twice as long as the length of the video, and that pretty much just boils down to the fact that I have to make sure that text is on screen long enough to be read. So I'm essentially just watching the entire video as it's being made, and then once it's done, I watch it all back to make sure that everything is okay. And then of course extra time comes in through actually importing all the sprites, all the backgrounds, the text box. I do fade effects and stuff, all the background music, making sure that's all good. That takes a lot of time. So yeah, the videos take a while, but like I said, it really depends on what you mean, because like everything within the videos just doesn't just happen. Like, I have to write out the entire chapter first in like a Google Doc, and that takes a lot of time. Then I have to draw any sprites or CGs that I think are necessary for the story. Pretty much writing, drawing, and editing are all factors that contribute to the series, and those are all things that I love doing, but I need to spread them out and work on all three of those things in different chunks, because I worry that if I work on just one of those all at once, I would get burnt out of that very quickly. And if I don't want to do one of those three things, that throws everything else off, so I have to make sure that I don't get burnt out. What inspired you? Like a lot of the Danganronpa accounts that you've seen on Instagram, I've been inspired by Lazy Rampa. Shoutouts to Lazy Rampa, go read it. But I've also just kind of always like wanted to do like this big overarching story for Club Penguin, because I just feel like the characters in the world has so much potential for one that just never really got used. Another huge inspiration for me was Gravity Falls, which I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with. The biggest and probably most obvious inspiration from that is all the codes that I hide within the series. I just think like hiding codes like that and having your audience like scramble to try and figure out what it says is just such a fun way to mess with your fans. Originally I had planned on using one of the actual codes from Gravity Falls. I had planned on doing the Caesar cipher, which is just 3 letters back. You go 3 letters back in the alphabet, and that's how you unscramble the code. And I was just kind of banking on like some other Gravity Falls fan coming across and me like, oh, I know how to solve this, let's do this. And then I just kind of had this moment where I was like, oh my god, I'm so stupid. Like, there's already this PSA code in Club Penguin, the tic-tac-toe code. I could just use this. So I did, and it took a while, but people finally started to catch on to the codes, and they started to crack them. But eventually we've kind of gotten to a point where people see a code and they just immediately know how to solve it. So it gets solved pretty quickly. And that happened in Gravity Falls too. They switched up the ciphers constantly, and in Season 2 they felt like they really had to up the ante on the difficulty of cracking the code, so they used it, I believe it's called the key vignere. I don't know if I'm saying that right, but it's the key vignere cipher, where you have this hidden keyword, which was hidden somewhere in the episode, and then at the end credits there was a code, and you had to use that key code to unscramble the message. I don't remember exactly how it works, but it was pretty dang complicated, so I wanted to try and think up of a way to use the tic-tac-toe code, but make it somewhat harder to solve. So for the fan art contest I did, for the results post that I made, I used the original tic-tac-toe code to explain how this new code would work, and people solved it. People solved it a lot faster than I expected. I'm not sure if they did it correctly though. I tried to scroll through the chat and see if they had done it correctly, and I don't think they did. So I don't really mind kind of giving a brief explanation as to how that works right now. So like the Vignere cipher, I have a hidden keyword that you need to solve the code. In this case, let's say the keyword is tofu, my name. You need to get a template for the tic-tac-toe code, which is just 3 tic-tac-toe boards, 1 blank, 1 with X's, 1 with O's. And you need to start to write all the letters in the keyword into the board from the start. Since letters are tied to symbols, any duplicate letters in the keyword are thrown out. In Tofu, there are no duplicate letters, so we don't have to worry about that. Next, we have to fill in these boards with the remaining letters of the alphabet. But they're not just in alphabetical order. You have to go back to the keyword and fill in the closest letter to the right of each letter in the keyword. So we start with T, and the closest letter to the right of that is U, but that's already been used, so we have to go to V. The next letter in the keyword is O, and the closest letter to that is P. Then we go to F, and then we obviously write G, then we go to U, V has already been used, so now we go to W, and so on until the entire alphabet has been filled in. And bam! Now you've got your new code to solve whatever other codes I have hidden. Obviously this is just a test code and I'm not actually going to be using this. I just figured I'd give you a brief little example. Some other things that have been inspired by Gravity Falls is backwards messages. They did that a lot in that show, and I've pretty much only just done it once, but it was kind of cool. I needed to actually have a piano song to play for the Sleepy tune, and I wasn't sure what I was going to use for that, if I was going to use an actual Club Penguin piano song, or some other Danganronpa song that had piano in it, or I was going to make something myself. And eventually what I decided is I decided to make an arrangement of the EPF theme backwards. One last thing, I know, sorry, I've been rambling about how much Penguinronpa has been inspired by Gravity Falls a lot, but this is the last thing, I promise. After Chapter 1, I did a little story Q&A with Monobird, and that was entirely inspired by the Bill Cipher Q&A that they did on Reddit. I just think being able to, talk and ask these omnipotent characters questions is super interesting. Alright, I'm done talking about Gravity Falls. What's your favorite idea? Mine is being... Oh, no! What motivates you to spend so much time on Penguinronpa? This is gonna sound cheesy, but it's you guys. It's the people, the community. I don't think I'd be nearly as motivated as I am if I didn't have so many people eagerly awaiting each new part. Another huge motivation for me is just my love for Club Penguin itself. If it wasn't clear by now, this series is a passion project for Club Penguin first and Danganronpa second. This entire series is pretty much a giant homage to Club Penguin, and I want to make sure I do it right, and that's why I have so many little references to things in Club Penguin, and it's super rewarding when I see comments and messages from people saying that I've struck the nostalgia chords for them. Club Penguin is very special to me, and it's very special to a lot of people. So seeing people appreciate it for more than just a meme makes me very happy. Will Penguinronpa be finished 100% and any plans after the conclusion? This is kind of a weird question to answer, because I don't really see anything getting in the way of the series being finished. But life's kind of crazy sometimes, so you never know. It's really wild to think about the series ending one day, because I know I have so much work ahead of me, but it's gonna happen before I even realize, and I'm not ready for that. But like I said, anything can happen, so I'm not gonna guarantee it. I would say it's pretty much a 99% chance that the series gets finished. If I don't end up finishing this, yeah, I would regret it for a long time. And I know that might be kind of silly to think that about this weird little Club Penguin Danganronpa crossover project, but this series means everything to me, and I'm so damn passionate about it. Not finishing it properly would kill me inside. As for plans after the series ends, I have a few ideas in mind for some bonus content, but we'll hopefully get there when we get there. Favorite upcoming chapter and a cryptic spoiler. My favorite chapter is definitely Chapter 4. I'm also really excited for the Chapter 3 end scene that leads into that chapter. I'm not going to give you a cryptic spoiler because I pretty much already do that with the codes, so if you want a little hint, you gotta work for it. Is gonna be the mastermind. Why did you think I would answer this? Does Dot dislike everyone now? Again, pay close attention to how she acts. You should get your answer. Would you combine everything into one video once the killing game is over? I've definitely thought about that, and I think at the pace that we're going, the video would end up being 10 to 11 hours long, which would be absolute hell to render and upload. But I feel like a video with the title Penguinronpa Complete Series, I just feel like that would get so many views. And I don't want to sound greedy when I say that because this series is entirely built out of love, but could you really blame me for trying to pass that up? Come on. Do you have plans for Shadow Guy? Oh my god, the real Shadow Guy asked this question? Wow. I have plans for every remaining character, which includes you, Shadow Guy, so don't worry. Have you ever participated in any Club Penguin related things? Comics, newspaper, etc.? No, but I wish I did. That was so cool. They would feature people's art all the time, dude. I don't know why I didn't. I drew Club Penguin stuff all the time. I look back on a lot of my old art and I'm thinking wow. how did people think this was good? This is shit. But I look at like some of my Club Penguin drawings, and I'm like, you know what? That's not bad. Like, I don't know why Club Penguin's always been like pretty much the thing that I can just nail consistently all these years, but it just is. And I appreciate all of your comments, always complimenting me for mimicking the style so well. I try my hardest. I think me drawing Club Penguin so well ever since I was a kid has just kind of grown as my art skills have developed over the years, and I don't know, I can draw Club Penguin stuff really well now. Top 3 Club Penguin games. Depends on if you count Classic Club Penguin and Club Penguin Island as games. I don't know why you wouldn't, but the fact that you said 3 makes me think you're talking about the 3 physical video games that were released. So if you're only talking about the 3 physical games, 3 Game Day, 2 Herbert's Revenge, and 1 the first DPF game. That's not to say I don't like Game Day though. Game Day is really fun, and I used to speedrun it. I had the world record for a while. So smash that subscribe button if you want to see a speedrun of Club Penguin Game Day for the Nintendo Wii. But if you do count the 2 main online games, then number 3 Herbert's Revenge, 2 Elite Penguin Force, and 1 Classic Club Penguin, of course. Which penguin is the hardest to draw? Probably the ones that are dead, because I haven't drawn them in a while. So if you asked me to draw Antarctic right now, I'd just be like, wait a minute, give me some time. It's like I've drawn everyone else so much more since then. It'd just be weird going back to the ones that I haven't had to draw in a while. How can you manage such a big fan base? Dude, I don't fucking know. No, but seriously, big thank you to Boomer and Spade, my 2 mods in the Penguinronpa Discord server. They are the admins of SpongeBob Rompa and Rompa and Friends, respectively, on Instagram. Go give them some love, they deserve it. Also, a big thank you to just everyone in the Penguinronpa community in general. It's still surreal to me how many there are of you, and it's just awesome seeing this little community that we have. Just getting online, playing Club Penguin with you guys, it's been super fun, just talking to you guys. Seeing all the memes, all the fan art, it's great. I love it. I love you guys so much. Thank you for asking these questions. I love this series, and I hope you love it too. We got a ways to go. We're gonna do it. Thank you for watching, and waddle on, my friends.